The Paranormal Room.
The Paranormal Room.
Have you ever encountered something you couldn't explain?
Ghosts, were they strangers or were they family?
Cryptids, alien encounters.
Strange animal encounters, child spirits.
Whatever your experience, we want to hear about it.
Email your story to WLTK-DB paranormalroom@gmail.com for your chance to share your story on the show. Again, that's WLTK-DB paranormalroom@gmail.com.
We're waiting for your story.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Paranormal Room. You're listening to us on WLTK-DB Talk Radio. This is Christina and Logan. Somehow the camera is showing us backwards. We put the name in order of where we're actually sitting. So it's a little bit weird and backwards, but that's okay. You can tell us apart. And tonight we are going to, it's a continuation basically of, and we're talking to our paranormal team, or my paranormal team. Logan's working on joining the paranormal team. He hasn't quite gotten his application yet. And we're talking, it's the Adirondack Park Paranormal Society. And we worked with them this weekend at a haunted house that was done to raise money for charity. And it was a lot of fun. They're a great group of people. We had so much fun. Oh my gosh. It was exhausting. I'll be honest. It was exhausting, but it was fun. Did you want to add something?
No, that was very succinct.
That was very succinct. Okay. All right. So if you are in Northern New York, I will be in Plattsburgh next weekend at the Dark Waters Paranormal Conference. And there's a lot of cool stuff going on there. Go to their Facebook page because there is way more than I can remember to tell you. So just go to the Dark Waters Paranormal Conference page and look up all the cool stuff. Starts Friday, goes through Sunday afternoon. So much stuff. Live bands, dinners, psychic fairs, speakers galore. I'm going to be speaking. I'm going to be channeling the Pleiadian High Council there. So I'm super excited about that. And so we have all of this stuff going on. And then I will be back in Wisconsin and then back in Vermont and then back in Wisconsin. You can check my meetup page. I'm working on getting that caught up too, because wow, a lot of stuff scheduled really, really quickly. And I'm very excited about all of it. So I'm just as excited about the Witches Ball in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, as I am about the Paranormal Conference in Plattsburgh, New York. And there's just so much cool stuff going on. So, you know what? We are going to be having quite a show going on here. I'm going to bring up 4 members of the Adirondack Park Paranormal Society, and I'm getting a message from another one. So let's bring up Susie, Amy Lynn, Brett, and Sarah.
Hello.
Hey,
we
everybody.
We were kind of making a small joke because the Witches Ball is on my birthday. And we're trying to like, should we? There's no way for us to go. And she was like, your hubby should bring you. And be like, yes, he works though.
Minor detail. Just call in sick. Let's go.
There you go. It's only a 16-hour drive.
Oh, okay.
Only a 16-hour drive.
Oh, no, it's 18. It's 18 to Eau Claire because it's 16 to my house. So it's...
And then we could go visit
You know,
Todd.
in all fairness, we've done 20-hour drives.
We could show up on Todd's
door.
doorway and say, surprise.
He would be so excited.
He just shut the door.
Todd, if you're ever listening to this, we're stopping on your doorstep and we're staying the night for the Witches Ball, the 20.
We need a place to crash.
Oh, Lord. And Robin's back. Hi, Robin. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Robin.
I'm giving Jennifer instructions on how to join us here. So I'm going to hand the mic over to Logan to be a good co-host here while I do this.
Oh, yes.
Right. I'm totally unprepared. How's it going, everybody?
Hi.
Hi.
If it makes you feel better, I was always unprepared every time I do one. So
It seems like I only saw you this morning.
I know, right?
Right? It's weird.
By the way, whoever did your braid did a wonderful job.
I know, right?
It's beautiful.
Strange
I love
people
it.
showing up.
So, I believe the conversation is continuing off of where you were before.
Yes.
Yeah, and personal experience. I want to hear about you guys' personal experiences on investigations.
Yes, any details that you can spare without violating any legal
goodness.
agreements or whatever.
Actually, Sarah, do you want to grab a hold of this? We've been chatting on the last hour. Let's give you some screen time.
Yep, one moment. This is not Sarah.
Wow, Sarah, your voice got
talking
really
the phone
deep.
and the microphone and everything. My gosh. So paranormal.
That's because the microphone on our laptop is not good. We had to plug in an exterior mic.
Well, paranormal experiences. I guess one of the most recent ones and probably most eventful was when I kind of got shoved down the stairs at Russia Union Church. That was definitely an interesting paranormal experience. We were upstairs investigating the church, and we were chasing a spirit around that clearly didn't want to communicate with us. And I was actually upstairs with Jen, if she ever gets on here, to be able to contribute to the conversation.
I'm getting her. Hold on.
But we kept smelling kerosene and everything in the hallway at the top of the stairs and everything. And we were kind of discussing things about the smell of it. And we were, saying to ourselves, be careful, because the staircase is a little steep anyways. And next thing you know, I get, a little bump and my feet go right out from underneath me. And I start tumbling forward, and thank God I got my landing, because there was a window right there, and that may have ended badly with the chicken coop wire that they had it wrapped up with, trying to protect people from going through.
That happened right in front of me. One minute Sarah's walking down the stairs, the next minute, where'd she go?
Yep. It
Sarah,
was quick.
Okay. I mean, are you all right?
Oh yeah, no, I was fine. I mean, it startled me and everything, and I was, a little hesitant about going back up there. And we all went back up as an entire group together, so I felt a little bit more comfortable. I definitely don't think I would have gone back up there and gone down those stairs by myself, though. That was definitely not an experience I wanted to repeat by any means, being alone.
Didn't somebody on the team, I think it was Brett, had a premonition of somebody falling? He thought it was me that was going to fall.
Yeah,
Yes.
So leading up to that, I kept having visions, and it was you, Sue, and I felt the need to extra protect you and try, and I was blindsided. So whatever,
which is
happened.
funny, because Sarah wasn't the only one who fell in that investigation. I fell, Sandy fell, and Sarah fell.
And ironically, I was the only one that didn't, because I was so cautious with every step that I was taking.
I was hovering over you.
Yeah, every time I turned around, there was Brett.
Was the one that falls.
Wow.
There's that. Yeah. So we were talking previously about how each member brings something to the table. And so some of us do have premonitions, and some of us have dreams.
Some of us has voices in our heads.
Some of us have voices in our heads that we like to listen to.
There's medicine.
Not enough.
No,
nearly enough.
not strong enough.
Not strong.
Robin wants to know if someone was tripping you guys.
I don't know about Sarah or
pushing.
It was
Sandy's experience, but I was shoved down.
Yeah.
I was definitely pushed. It kind of felt like somebody almost like hip checked me type deal. It wasn't like I didn't feel anything on my back or anything. It was just like a quick hip check, and my feet literally went out off the step, and down I started going, and I stumbled a few steps, and thank God I got my grip and my feet underneath me, and I didn't go any further, because it could have been pretty bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because the windows, the way that church is built, the windows are down low and level. The base of the window is level with the...
No, it's below.
Or actually it was below the landing. So, and it was quite a high window. So if she had finished tripping, she would have gone through the glass.
Like if the mesh wire wasn't there to have that barrier, she could have gone through.
But that chicken wire would not have stopped her.
Yeah.
Now, didn't you find out that somebody had actually had that happen to them?
Yes.
I believe somebody definitely had gone down the stairs, and whether it was a fatal injury, I'm not positive, but I definitely have a feeling that it definitely was a fatal injury that took place.
Well, one of the people that are associated with the church, one of the historical society members, had mentioned that other people trip on those stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And
I remember that.
So that we, again, we don't always share the information with all the team members because we don't want them to, like when Sarah and I do research, we don't necessarily share that information with the team unless it's, there's a dangerous situation on whatever part of the property. We will say, be careful when you go this way. But if it's information that either people have had previous experience with, or if it's historical information, we want to see if the evidence that we collect is going to match up with historical information. And when it does, it's fantastic. But we know that we haven't affected or infected the investigators with that knowledge. So when they find it or it comes across on any of our equipment, then we know we can literally say, okay, this was in our research, and this is what came across the EVPs, or this is what came across on camera. So, and if, like I said, the investigators don't know about this, they're not being influenced saying, oh yeah, I felt that. Oh yeah, I heard that. Mm-hmm. Well, if they did, it's not because of previously known knowledge.
Right. Yeah. Jessica wants to know if it was an old empty church or this church is still open for people.
Both. Yeah. It's not an actively used church, but they do use it for ceremonies and do use it for small gatherings. It's not an active church per se. I think they do Christmas services in there
sometimes,
if I remember right.
Yeah, it's more of a social type place. It's not like active for like actual sermons every Sunday type thing. It's
Okay.
Another thing is there's a little old schoolhouse attached to the property, and that's where my experience was. Don't touch the beams. Don't touch beams. You know how the saying is don't cross the beams? Yeah, we don't touch the beams either.
Yeah. Don't touch things.
Okay.
It's like what your parents told you, stop touching things.
We had someone we're doing an EVP session, and someone went to go lean on the beam, and I was like, don't touch the beam. Right after they touched it, I had someone grab my neck and shove me down on the ground. And
wow.
I was in a state where I could not continue the investigation. I've never had to stop something before, because usually I'm pretty resilient. I can continue on. But that was like the only time so far, knock on wood.
That's an example where we pulled her and we took her outside.
She legitimately had marks on her neck too.
Yeah.
From them.
Yeah. I had a scratch mark going down my back too.
So we pulled her at that point because either it was focusing on her, or either way, whether it was focusing on her or it was they just didn't like her touching the beam or being around the beam. We said, no, we're pulling you, and that's it.
It was definitely aggressive.
There was some aggressive stuff there. That was
but also you got to think this was most likely some old timer. It was summer. It was very hot. I wore shorts, and I'm a young lady, according to them, probably spirits. So me being in a schoolhouse, not wearing appropriate clothing.
It was a union church, so there was several denominations that was using that church.
Okay.
In that schoolhouse.
In the schoolhouse. So we're talking.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I wanted to give Sarah a chance to say what she was starting to say.
Oh, no, I was just making the comment about how she had marks on her neck. And I think it was that incident that happened with Amy that instigated us to come down the stairs. And then the incident happened with me. So they were probably maybe about 5-10 minutes apart kind of situation. So we were agitating something very much.
Yeah,
so.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, I finished that off.
Yes.
Really agitated.
You did. I mean.
Yeah, which is still very strange because like there was one part like I could hear them very clearly, then all of a sudden I heard nothing.
And you mean when we did that final one up top?
Yeah.
That was pretty strong up there. It was, you know how in some of the old churches you had a choir loft,
Mhm.
which was basically like on a second floor. Well, over the years, at some point they enclosed the whole thing, and ironically, the spirits that we were quote unquote chasing, that Sarah mentioned earlier, they were traveling as though the choir loft was still wide open.
Yeah.
Nothing happened in the center. We couldn't get any activity in the center, but on the outside edges, it was back and forth, back and
Yep.
forth.
Hey, Susie.
how-
So,
Yeah.
interesting fact is, so every time we talk about, we have a paralight going, and every time we're talking about the church, the paralight is actually going absolutely nuts.
Every time we say the word church, it pretty much like lights up. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
It's
cool.
like, it's really funny.
Can you guys
Interesting.
share with our audience what a paralight is?
I was just gonna ask that.
That's my ceiling. It's not a paralight.
Ah,
This object right here is
Well,
a paralight.
Put it back on the.
Oh, back.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
how about now? How about
Gotcha.
now?
Not when you touch it. It's,
It looks
See,
Okay,
they
so let's
can't-
say the word church.
But I mean, so Brett, go ahead and explain to him what
How it works.
but how
Yeah.
it works and what causes the lights to change.
oh, that's not my department. You can't put me out like that. I know what it is, but I'll mix it all up.
It
so.
basically will it detects energy of like any sort of electrical magnetic type energy, and
Electromagnetic.
to it will create, however strong it is, it goes up in different colors. So right now it's kind of like that purplish pink. The next color will be blue. Next level is green. Then there's yellow. Then there's orange, and then I think the last like ultimate color is red.
So if you.
And it'll change different colors based on how strong the level of energy is.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, cool. I've not seen that particular device before.
Yeah, no, I
It's
learned
like
something.
it's a little EMF device that's just easier to see at a distance, honestly.
Yeah, and it shows on camera as well.
Very well on
Okay.
camera.
Good to know.
For
Good to
someone who
know.
sits in command majority of the time,
Yeah.
it is amazing to see on camera.
Excellent. Excellent. So, what I know what I'm trying to ask, but the words just are not formulating. Nikki popped in. Yeah, Nikki hasn't seen one before either, and she's also on a paranormal team. Are you guys, Robin and Nikki, are you both still with Whisper? I'm just wondering if that's the team that I was on in Washington State. So
That's awesome.
So I spent like 10 years in Wisconsin. Don't join a paranormal team, but either coast, I'm good.
That's
Yes,
okay.
they
Yes, they
are.
are.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Whisper
Fantastic.
was an awesome experience for me because they have the same level of integrity that Apps does. And I just, we talked about that actually during my interview that,
Mhm.
I was not going to go with a group that went any lower than that. And they're very high integrity. So,
And
yeah.
and that's what you need, honestly. You
Yeah.
can't, and I can't say this enough. The entire team has that integrity. I don't care which member it is, and if you don't have it, it breaks down the team. It breaks down your confidence. It breaks down the communication. It breaks down the camaraderie that we have, and the faith and that we have in each other.
Right. Right. And it's absolutely necessary.
Oh,
for
it's
a team.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Good example, when we did a seance at
The jail.
no, actually I was
Oh.
talking about at the Brett's
the
shop.
Yeah.
And Sarah was in the seance. At one point, we had 6 people in the group, but at one point it was weird because it was like going between Sarah, Brett, and I, and kind of back and forth. And
Like-
then and Jen was to my left, and then Jen could feel it, and then the other two, well, one member was blocking for everybody, so he wasn't getting any
When
information.
in the
But
previous,
it was neat how the three of us, we had never done a seance together. And
Yeah.
it was literally, you could almost feel it just going from the three of us back and forth. And poor Brett was in the middle of all that.
in
Yeah, that
the
was fun.
The flow of
in
energy
the
was
previous little
Yeah,
Yeah,
chat
it was a
thing,
flow.
we mentioned that like Damon is a blocker. It was Damon who prevented them from going to full circle.
Yeah. I don't know if he realized he was doing. I on one hand, I think he did know what he was doing because he didn't want to become a part of it, but at the same time, he wanted to try to keep the flow going.
Yeah.
But I will say during that one, I was doing the spirit box section while they were doing the seance, and I've heard her voice come through the spirit box multiple times during that session.
Yeah,
And
it's
it
a
was
little freaky.
it was really freaky. I was like, why do I hear? I was like lifting it off. I was like, I can't hear them. What's happening?
Oh, that's right, because you were in the other room.
I was in the opposite room. Just spirit box, notepad.
That was a wild seance too. That one was pretty cool.
That's cool. That's cool. Brett, what was your favorite investigation you've done so far?
Oh boy, they're all fun. I mean, they're all different in their own nature. I can't really pick a favorite. I mean, I just enjoy every minute of all of them. The church, I like antagonizing things. So, well, I mean, in investigations too, but and I definitely the church, getting positive results from that and going from there. That was kind of, especially something towards a darker side. Really was not really fun, I guess, but it was very lightning and it was very. Sorry, things going off again. That's probably my favorite one is the church. It was, from metal detecting outside to finding stuff, reading history on it, and just everything throughout.
Well, you're an ordained minister, correct?
Yep.
So we were able to, and again, we're not beyond taking advantage of this situation. We used Brett
and Damon
to, because he's
also
formally,
ordained.
Yeah. To reach out to what we felt was something negative, and we were figuring it was one of the old, very strict Bible thumping pastors that was probably there. And
that was a moment when I stopped hearing you guys.
Yeah. This we were all upstairs in the choir loft, and it was kind of going after us and then back off, going after us, and more the women than the men that were in the group. So Brett decided he was going to use his voice and his size and try to intimidate. It worked. It worked really well.
And I could hear him like using the bellow from downstairs because I was in command, making sure everything was going safe and smoothly, and like making sure everyone was accounted for, everyone was being safe, doing my job, making sure no one's trying to break in. And then all of a sudden it was just silence. I was like, did they finish? Another 10 minutes go by, then they come downstairs. They were still going on. I just couldn't hear it. It was like a sound block.
Oh, wow.
And I was right at the bottom of the stairs. I should have been able to hear them the entire time.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it was only a board difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nikki has a whole bunch of comments in here as you guys are talking about this church and the seance and all of that. And yeah,
definitely taking the chances when we get them. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
We did that at one point up there. Like there was like, I think at one point in the church, we went up there with Brett. Brett had the spirit box, and me and you were just chatting, and they said something about me not being able to do something. And I was like, oh, I have definitely am able to do stuff.
Yeah. Oh, we got it. Go ahead, Brett.
Oh, sorry. That spirit box section we had too was pretty wild because I don't really like when you get into a spirit box, you hear the noises and stuff, and it kind of puts you in a daze. But like, I don't even really remember half of it. I just remember you guys reaching up and hello, we need to go downstairs.
Yeah, it was getting ugly
because like he was repeating things, and like we were getting entire conversations back and forth, and arguments between two spirits at one point.
And at
Wow.
one point, we tried to. I mentioned to Brett. I said maybe you want to change the questioning a little bit, and he was so focused. And that's when we said, "Okay, we're done. Let's everybody go downstairs and regroup." And we had to physically touch him to get his attention.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that whole experience at the church was the most experience I've ever had in an investigation, I feel. And because we were sitting there originally when we were we had the SLS camera out, we had motion sensors, and I was sitting in the chair and I was yelling at the, spirit, and the motion lights were going off around me. And then Sandy was on the other side of me, and then Sarah, we watched on the SLS camera a figure go above Sarah, across over to Sandy, and then Sandy instantly was like, "Hey, something's over here." So it was just
Yeah, Nikki wants to know which church it was. Sorry to cut you off, Brett. Nikki
no.
wants to know which church it was. She missed it.
It was the Russia Union Church down in Herkimer.
Russia, New York, which used to be part of Newport, and they're all little suburbs of Herkimer.
Oh, there were multiple schools, definitely.
For those of you who are in Seattle, it's New York.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Central New York. We'll just say Central New York, just kind of. Otherwise, it just gets too confusing. And we upstate break up New York State, but everybody else it's New York City and the rest.
Yeah. So for people who are not from your area, they're like, which church can I go? Where is it? Well, you can, but it's going to take you a while to get there.
You can make the trip, I'm sure.
Yeah, in New York, it's very categorized. You got New York City, you have the east part of it, and then we're 20 minutes from Canada.
Yeah.
So
we're northern.
We're northern.
Canadian.
Yeah. We're the Canadian part of New York.
They're northern.
Like, some of us can call it South Canada.
Yes.
South Canada, yeah.
If you hit Canada, you just gone a little too far. Just back up a little bit.
Come back up. You're fine.
Yep.
Nikki says she'll have to make a special trip to check it out.
Oh, absolutely. Let us know when you're up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're hoping to get back in there. I think that's still the plan.
I would go back. I think there's definitely some things going on there that need to be revisited, and
absolutely.
It a second round.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about that not too long ago because I never understood them till like the last few years, but it's like I'm daydreaming, and I see things and then they happen, and then I'm like, oh wow, it's deja vu, but it's so bad and so frequent that sometimes it's hard to tell the differences, whether it's real or fake. But all these things happen, and I'm like, oh yeah, I knew that was going to happen, but it's not totally clear all the time.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, we each bring something to the table, and it's fun. It's interesting. It's exciting when those premonitions, whatever you want to call them, the dreams, the experiences that we have as individuals, and then it comes to fruition at the investigation.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. I'm still trying to fully understand, the capability of the things that my brain does and stuff, but it is interesting. And it always sometimes surprises me because I will have these thoughts or these visions or premonitions, if you will. And, I will tell Susie or whoever I need to the little bits of information. And then all of a sudden it comes back and I'm right about something. And I'm like, how, and I always surprise myself, and I don't know if it's just, I don't have the full confidence in my abilities sometimes, but it's nice to know when I'm correct on things and I'm not just crazy.
It can be a learning
you
curve.
might be a little bit crazy. You're with
no, I'm a lot crazy, but
I'm
not crazy about those things.
I just want to throw out there real quick, y'all have a training manual.
Thank God.
We do.
Yes,
we do.
We do.
You do.
But it truly is a learning curve to learn what's the intrusive thoughts versus what's intuition versus what's something trying to communicate with you.
Yeah.
Trying to differentiate those can be very difficult sometimes.
Go ahead.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah,
Never-
yeah, no, go ahead, Brett. You're bigger
No.
than me.
My favorite.
Bigger than everybody. Come on. He's bigger than
Come on.
Logan.
I know. I think I'd still fear
No,
Susie over
my favorite part about like the team too is how well we work together. Like I have things happen, and look at just what happened a few weeks ago. You know, I was like, "Hey guys, something happened last night. Anybody feeling anything?" And you know, usually it's before that I would message Susie, and I'm like, "Hey, Susie, what's this?" And she's like, "Oh, it's A, B, and C." Oh, okay. You know, and it's just so funny. Like Sarah and I will have something happen, and we'll just talk to Susie and be like, "Yep, I knew that."
I know. I usually like tell Brett first and have him as my soundboard, and then I'm like, okay, got to message Susie this. She's got to know.
And
Robin,
sometimes,
yeah, sorry. I just want to say Robin was responding to Sarah when she said that surprise happens to me all the time when Sarah was talking about like when something comes up and then she's like, oh my God, I was right. Yeah.
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 And I have no problem with them, using me as a soundboard. But it's weird because sometimes things will happen, or I'll get little messages about team members, and I don't know what to do with them, so I'll just kind of file it off. And one member or another member, like Brett or Sarah, will, hey, what about this? Yes, you're dead on. I won't tell them that. Okay, yeah, I was getting this message a couple weeks ago, but okay, yeah, you're good. How did she know this? I don't know. They decided to tell me, or they just tell me. Spirit will just tell me, that much, and I don't know what to do with it.
Or Spirit sticks a song in your head and won't let it go away.
Oh my gosh, I hate waking up and I have a song in my head, and I'm like, I have to play that song in order and listen to the entire thing in order for it to go away.
I tried that. It didn't work. That's why I went on the
Oh.
app's chat team and went, okay, guys, who is this for? Because this song is driving me bananas.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, mine
Yeah.
was the Barbie Girl song.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this about?
Oh Lord.
We have a soundboard. Bum.
Oh
Yeah.
No, we don't have a
My
sound.
soundboard
Damon's
with me.
soundboard is not hooked up right now.
Damon's working, so we don't have the soundboard. I
Well,
apologize
Logan
for that.
has a soundboard too. It's just in a different state at the moment. So
You don't
No,
rap
I'm gonna.
with it? Come on.
I technically have a
You're fired.
soundboard, but it's in a different town.
See,
okay.
so,
Is it awkward when you get messages about people who are close to you?
Sometimes.
I mean,
it depends on what the situation is.
it is and it isn't. To me, if I'm getting messages about, as I call them, my crew, then I want to make sure they're okay. I want to protect them.
Right.
And if I'm thinking that it's something they need to hear, like yesterday, I will reach out and I'll say, next time you do this, do that, or, check this out. I knew Sarah was pregnant before she was pregnant.
Yeah, so did a spirit that visited us.
Yeah, we had a visitor that came around and kind of let us know, and then a couple days after that, I finally went and got a pregnancy test, and lo and behold, yeah, I was pregnant and didn't know it for 2 months.
But Susie knew too.
Yeah, Susie knew too.
Because I reached out to Damon. I said, "Is Sarah pregnant?" And he goes, "How the hell should I know?" And I'm like, "I'm just telling you. You and Brett are friends, real close, work buddies, work husbands.
Susie
I don't know. I
know.
figured you would know before anybody else knew."
Yeah, Brett's been grumpy lately. That explains it.
And then a few days later, she let the team know, "Oh, guess what? I'm pregnant." I'm like, "Ah." So yeah, there are times it's odd. Sometimes it's frustrating. I was working alongside Amy Lynn the other day, and I don't know anybody by this name. And suddenly I got a name of a friend of hers, and I said, "Have you talked to her recently?" She goes, "No." I said, "Call her." Why? I don't know.
No, she reached. You said,
You need to call her. All I know is that you
reach
need to
out.
call her.
And then later they said the same name, but her nickname instead of her full name. And I was like, yeah, okay. Found out like she needed information to be said. I needed information to be said. And yeah.
And I know when Sarah does research, it's the same thing, that sometimes we get this information while we're researching, and it's kind of like making that connection. Someone or something sees that we're researching it, and they suddenly point us in this direction or point us in that direction. And it is always positive towards the investigation we're about to do.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll definitely, it occasionally sends you down like a rabbit hole, and you don't really understand where you're going and why, but eventually
That's a good
it all makes
description.
sense. So it is interesting doing the research and allowing yourself to be open and letting it, kind of letting things guide you and where you need to go. Because I'll get stuck on something and I just take a break for a minute, I walk away, and then I come back, and like all of a sudden it's like the doors opened and the floodgates are going, and all of a sudden I'm down that rabbit hole and I have no idea what I'm doing, what I'm looking up, but I'm jotting it all down.
Yeah.
And speaking of taking a break, we need to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Certified psychic medium Stephanie Lynn creates an authentic connection between the living and the spirit world. Stephanie knows she is here to help heal, educate, and provide validation that there is more after death, and allows herself to be a conduit and work as a team with spirit to pass on messages from their world to ours. Stephanie Lynn also works as a spiritual life coach to help you achieve, create, and manifest your best self and life. Looking for help communicating with an animal? Searching for a past life regression therapist? Or dealing with a paranormal experience? Stephanie Lynn is here to help. For a list of full services, visit her on Facebook under Stephanie Lynn Spirit Sensitive. That's Stephanie Lynn Spirit Sensitive.
Hey everyone, the time is 8:43, and if anyone doesn't know, it's time for another ad for my YouTube channel. So for those of you watching, if you want to see someone be mediocre at video games and then scream at the TV, come over to Turtle Island Gaming. And also, I think people here could really get a kick out of a possibility I've been cooking up. What would you say to a group of ghost hunters being recorded playing a game called Phasmophobia, which is an actual ghost hunting game where there's a command center, there's gear, there's all sorts of things?
It's more fun when you do it in VR. I'm just saying.
Exactly. That's why anyone actually going into the house should be using VR. Everyone in the command center, mouse and keyboard.
Yes,
that works.
But like, if your group is like my group when you play, we're going back and forth, and it's not fun because there's no communication. And I'm just like, the actual paranormal. This is not how this works.
Nikki's in. Nikki's in. She said that's a great idea. She's in. So
That's not how this works. Oh my god.
Nikki,
No.
I promise I will do it the moment I get enough people who have the game and have the equipment to play it.
We have 2 members of the team to have it, actually. Me
Excellent.
and Damon currently have it. So, we have part of a team already.
Nikki, in case no one's watching the comments, Nikki says, "Do it."
Oh, I've been trying to get these guys to play games, and this is just, you're aiding and abetting, and I love it so much.
I'm not a gamer. I'm sorry, Amy. I don't play video games.
She plays Sudoku.
I do. I like games that like are good for memory and stuff. I'm crazy.
But if they had a
Yeah,
VR,
I'm with Sarah on this one.
I'm with Sarah on
so
this one
people
too.
who vote usually for Cards Against Humanity for every game night we do.
Well, there's nothing wrong with Cards Against Humanity. It's good for the brain.
All right, let's get back to investigations here.
Anyway.
Nikki says, I'll totally watch. I don't have the gear, but love games. I'll start saving up. All right, Nikki. You just made a good friend in Logan right there. Not that you didn't already last week. So I'm going to jump over to Amy Lynn. What's been your favorite investigation, or what the one that has impacted you the most?
Oh, those are two different investigations.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I think so far, my favorite would have to be. Oh, it's so hard to choose because I've been on so many at this point. I think my favorite so far has to be the church at the moment, because it was such an impactful.
What about the jail and how you connected with one of the?
Yes, I completely forgot about the jail. See, this is the issue with ADHD. You forget things exist.
Yes.
Jail, yes, absolutely the jail. There was a gentleman in spirit form who we suspect severely had severe autism. And he connected to me immediately, like he attached to me. And we went to go revisit the jail for the event that we did.
Right, for the reveal. Yeah, it was actually another one of those fundraising reveals.
The second I walked onto property and got out of the car, he latched right back to me. I was like, okay, you gotta let go. You gotta wait at least until I get inside. I had to go back to the car and get a couple of veils. Like that place, I had to use so many veils because it was just to keep myself like clear. It was just because I was overstimulated because he was overstimulated.
Yeah.
Like he attached me. Like I learned so much about my own personal self.
And you were the only one that connected to him.
Mm-hmm.
He was very quiet. There was another person that had been in that same jail cell, not at the same time.
Yeah.
But
Gene and Chester.
Yeah, Gene and Chester. Both people that had issues up in upstate New York. Are upstate New York.
The way upstate New York.
Northern New York.
But the other gentleman was very outspoken, very loud, very self-assured. And he came through quite quickly and kind of was overbearing to
Gene. Which is funny because I picked nothing off from Chester. Like I was like on a separate frequency.
I could hear him in my head. It was obnoxious
because all I kept feeling was like a pushback. And I feel like they were like two different worlds. Like they weren't like. It's another thing we learned. Like spirits could possibly be on separate planes of each other, not realizing that the other one exists.
Yeah,
in the same area.
And you had that at the jail. Sure.
Absolutely, because I was connecting to Gene, who was very overstimulated by the sounds, the noise, how many people, and like we just had 4 people in that little cell, and not even all in the cell. And
yes, I was going to say 2 of us were outside the cell.
I end up having a panic attack because we have a REM pod that gets very loud, and we were trying to get him to touch it, and he touched it. It made a very loud sound, and because it's a jail cell, cement, metal, it echoed. I got overstimulated because he got overstimulated, and I went to full-blown panic attack. I was like, this is not my panic attack, but he's having a panic attack and it's affecting me. I need to leave.
Yeah. So yeah, we walked right outside again.
Yeah. It's another thing. Like, I think that's like it was just to get me out of that connection, just to break that connection a little bit. Cause he was mostly in the cell. He didn't leave it much. He was very, he was 16, 17 when
he went to jail.
When he went to jail, but then eventually went to basically the version of what up here is like it's a mental institution for the criminally insane. But he went to the version down in his area eventually, and then he passed away not quite young. I can't remember exactly what killed him. I don't remember all the details.
I think it was influenza.
Was it?
Yeah.
Maybe.
He had something in the lungs.
Oh, yeah, because I was hacking and coughing. Mm-hmm. That's right.
But again, you didn't know that, but I did.
No, I didn't. I was like, why do I feel like this? Like my voice was scratchy.
And... That makes sense.
Wow. All right, I'm going to jump over to Sarah because we're going to run out of time here. So, Sarah, what is your favorite investigation that you've done or favorite experience you've had?
I guess
It's
my
so hard to
my
choose.
favorite one would be when we did Hotel Saranac, because it was my first investigation with the team, and
Mhm.
um, I went in pretty much blind. I knew none of the history of the hotel. I knew nothing of where the hot spots were. They had already been in there previously and had done investigations, so I was brand new, had no idea. And going in there, it was, we were doing our tour of the property, and we got to the higher floors, and I remember stepping off the elevator onto the 6th floor, and I instantly was just overwhelmed with just emotion, and I was very dizzy and disoriented, and they're trying to explain things of what we're doing and where we're going and what's going on, and I couldn't focus on anything. I was so overwhelmed with everything that was going on that floor that
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to leave. Like, I was just like watching the clock, and I'm like, oh my God, we got to get out of here. And then, going through and everything that we went through that night, and it really opened my eyes with a lot of things of certain abilities, and how, some of these, how spirits communicate things with stuff, and how much they can affect you. And it definitely opened my eyes to a lot of sensations and things that I had going on over the years. And again, wish I had a user's manual when I was 16. I think I would understand my abilities a lot more today than I do.
Yeah.
It was definitely a learning experience, and I enjoyed it very much. I don't think I'll ever be able to get that experience back.
No. And then everybody watching, if you were watching Susie's face when she was talking about the feeling nauseous, there it is, the knowing smirk. That's the indicator if we know we're on the right path.
The first investigation we did there, the same situation happened to another investigator, almost word for word what happened to Sarah. And again, it's nice to be able to validate experiences. And there was stuff that happened historically on that floor that would have given her, and that's what Sarah was experiencing. She was experiencing the guy that he died, but not, there was a fire in the building, but he didn't die from the building. I mean, from the fire. He actually had a panic attack, and he had a heart attack and died because he couldn't find the way because there was so much smoke. He could have easily have survived. He could have easily have gotten out, but he couldn't find the stairs. And they found him up on the floor, and he had died of a heart attack.
Aww.
Wow.
See, I didn't even know that. That's actually bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, that's why we don't tell our investigators.
No, we just have to look at our face and know if we're on the right track or not, though.
I agree, Sylvia. It's sad. Yeah.
It does definitely give it away.
And REM pods are fun. I agree with Nikki on that one too. And Nikki, you said that you've never heard of that before, and I assume that you're talking about having and can't communicate with each other. I think that's what she was referring to.
Yeah, it's definitely something like we haven't experienced many times. It's just something we've like had a theory about.
Okay.
Due to experiences.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Like, yeah, because she was getting one person, I was getting another person in the same exact area, and there's no conflicting anything when I was doing that. So
okay.
It was an interesting investigation, and absolutely.
I think I've never been on an uninteresting investigation. Like, even if nothing was found, it was still interesting.
Yeah, you learn something from every single one.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't think I will ever stop learning. I'm on the same road as far as Sarah was mentioning that.
Mm-hmm.
I learned something from everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing this since 2015. And even, like I said, you grow up with a certain mindset. And as I'm learning my abilities and as I'm expanding my abilities, and as we do more investigations and I'm able to take some of that knowledge and use it to something positive, and I do my research and I reach out to people like Christina, and it helps me okay, this is what's going on. Oh, okay, this is why it's going on. Okay, and this is what I need to do to expand that when I'm comfortable.
Yeah, and like for me, so far my biggest learning curve was when we did AMA.
AMA was difficult, and honestly, it is. I describe it as it had a little bit of everything. It had the very, very bad, it had the very, very good, and it had a little bit in between.
The mix of the intelligent and residual is also very interesting as well.
Yeah, that was wild. We used a SLS camera there, and we were able to have, I know that a lot of people debunked the SLS camera, but we actually had an entity that was chatting with us, and we created a yes-no conversation where I asked them if you would like to chat with us. I mean, it was a full stick figure. And that's what you see on the SLS cameras.
And it wasn't just like sitting there. It was moving.
Yeah. He had his leg up on his knee. And I said, if you would like to talk to us, can you give me a wave for yes? And the arm came up and it actually waved. And I said, so if the answer is no, can you just put your hand on your leg? And you saw the hand come down and it rested on his knee. So we had a conversation with him, and it was all recorded. It was beautiful. It was as perfect an EVP as you can get. And
absolutely.
It was video, it was EVP, it was communication. But when we decided to leave, because we try to keep our questions down to about 30 minutes, no more, because it's rough on us.
Right.
And we think it also drains the spirit, and we don't want to abuse that.
Right.
As we were walking away, he followed us to the doorway, but didn't go any further.
No, he followed us outside.
Outside, but he couldn't go beyond the building.
Yeah. There's like a little perimeter that he could not like go past, like 5 feet of the building perimeter.
And so we kept the camera on it, and eventually it just waved. And then I felt bad. I'm like, okay, he can't go. I don't know why he's tied, but he is literally tied to that
back
space.
Inside too.
Yeah.
And it was like
he's tied there because if he steps off the property, he goes to Saturn.
Saturn. Okay, that's a new one.
Actually, I know that Denise making light of it, and I get that. But what I was going to say is, I have seen situations where people have put protection around buildings, not realizing that they're trapping someone inside.
You know, that actually makes sense. Because there's been a lot of,
considering what the buildings were.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense, because
and I know there have been cleansings and blessings done on the property over the years, many of them, because there's been a lot of death there. It was a sanatorium. So there's been a lot of people going in and out of there for, emotional reasons, obviously, for life and death. And like I said, it had a lot of positives. They were able to find a cure for TB there.
How they came upon that?
The process was not very positive, and we actually tapped into that by accident. I did. But as far as favorite places to investigate, I would, obviously the first one is the Hotel Saranac, because I've known it so well, and it knows me. It literally, they were calling my name.
Susan.
Yeah.
Susan.
Yeah.
Susie.
And Damon was doing the spirit box out in the hallway, and we were asking questions in the room with the door closed. And I said, do you know who I am? Well, unbeknownst to me, in his ear, all he could hear was my name. And he opens up the door and he goes, what did you ask? I said, I just asked if they remembered me. Yes. The answer is yes. Yes. The first investigation we did there, I have a tendency to wander. I will admit it. And they were setting up the cabling and the cameras and stuff like that. And that's not my forte. So they were doing renovations in a building I was in for 8 years. So I wanted to see what they were doing. And I heard somebody call me up from the second floor. So it's kind of open there. So I hollered up. I said, I'll be up in a minute. And I went back to wandering. And this time it was very insistent. Susan! I'm like, okay. So I went up the stairs and I got to the top of the stairs. Everybody's gathered in this large room. And I said, what? And everybody turned around and they said, what? I said, you called me. And they started looking at one another. No, Susie, nobody called you. I heard my name. I'm telling you, I heard my name. Okay, was the answer. So, okay, I have friends there. So when I say I have friends there, I have friends there.
I totally get that. I completely, totally 100%.
It's kind of cool because, I know I can always go back, and then when nobody else likes me, they'll like me.
What she doesn't also say is that every place she goes, she creates friends.
Well, no, they're not all friends.
Well, Robin made a good point, though. Wandering off by yourself isn't a good idea because you could get hurt that way and nobody would know.
Well, first of all, we all have radios. Okay. So we're in constant command with different members.
Command.
Yeah, and we're in contact with command, and we're in contact with other team members. So if there was a situation, yes, we can always call, and we have. And we've called up, say, can somebody come down and help me? I need to get out of here, and I don't want to go by myself. Okay, fine, great. And again, it's safety first.
Yeah.
And as far as that particular building, I wasn't concerned because I know it inside and out. I was worked 3 years in sales and 6 years as head of housekeeping. There isn't a corner of that building I don't know.
That's true.
She knows all the secret tunnels.
As far as that goes. But what happens to me when we're investigating, and I'm pretty sure this happens to Sarah as well, we feel the need to go a certain direction. And this is why they tease me about wandering. And
so we have a rule. She has to grab someone when she goes somewhere, although she doesn't always follow it.
I always take
to grab someone.
Go.
Yeah. But like I said, I know I'm in communication with the team. We have up-to-date radios. These aren't, Walmart specials. These are very expensive radios. And they do have, and we make sure that the radios work. We do radio checks multiple times. And if we feel that the EVPs that we're doing, or one of the sit downs we're doing is running too long, they'll call us from command and say, you guys need to break, so that we're not putting too much stress on our body, and we're not putting too much stress on the spirit. Or spirits.
If even if an EVP is going long and they want, we'll be like, hey, stop it, pause it, take a break. Because when we come down to recording and reviewing all this evidence, it can get draining just reviewing it, especially for something that's longer than 30 to 40 minutes. It can get really exhausting. It's hard to focus and hear all the little things you need to hear.
But it helps to clear your head too.
Yeah.
So, and then we'll regather in together wherever command is. And then we'll say, okay, this is what happened here. This is what the experience of so-and-so is having. Okay, let's focus there. That seems to be where the hot spots are. Let's work on that. And then, but again, the wandering has always brought up new points of interest. Put it that way.
Absolutely.
So there is a positive to the wandering. They tease me relentlessly about it, but and I always say, but if I hadn't wandered, we wouldn't have got that.
Yeah. And like it's like another thing. It's like we don't stop them from wandering. It's like, make sure you grab your buddy when you do, Susie.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really important. And I'm just going to share what I learned working with Whisper is that there's more than one reason for that. First of all, safety. Safety is always the number one concern.
Oh, absolutely.
The second thing is that if you, there's Frankie.
I told you she wants to be the center of attention.
The other thing is, though, that if you come up with some evidence and you don't have someone to corroborate that, that's, it's hard. It's harder to debunk or prove.
Yeah, well, and this is the reason why we always have everyone has an EVP recorder. We the way this team works, we have the team equipment, but we also have our personal gear, and we encourage that who's ever on the team, and we try to tell people you want to have at least an EVP machine, you want to have at least a camera,
and at least a K2 meter,
and at least a K2 meter. That's basic equipment, and those three will get you through.
Yeah,
whatever you need, and radio.
When we say camera, we don't mean like video camera. We mean like point and shoot, quick shot, non auto correcting camera. So like one of the cheap ones you can buy at Walmart, kind of thing.
Okay. Robin also said, She did an investigation in a museum once, and the spirits kept zapping the energy in all of our equipment. And that's
yes.
a
The
lot.
amount of batteries. We literally go to like Sam's Club and like bulk buy in bulk with the batteries because we go through batteries like it's water.
Yeah.
I'll mix the two, but still.
Yeah, and I mean we have the rechargeable batteries for that reason because
and we buy multiple.
Yeah.
I'm just going to cut you two off for a minute because Brett and Sarah are too far away from their mic and I can't hear them, but I can see their circle light up. So I know they're talking, but I can't hear them.
Oh, no. We weren't talking.
No, I said, oh, definitely that. Yeah. The spirits will drain the energy out of batteries very, very quickly and very easily when they want to.
Oh yeah.
And they'll also manipulate equipment.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. There's when you guys first were the Hotel Sanic, they literally had a tripod that slowly tilted to be set on its side. And when they went to check, the cable was still pulled underneath.
We always make sure. Well, we have both battery cameras and we have cabled cameras.
At the time, you only had cables.
Yeah, DVR cameras. And at that time we only had the cables. And so we make sure there's plenty of spool underneath. And we made sure the feet were locked in on the tripods. And we just happened to all be looking at Command Central that has all the cameras up on the one screen. And all of a sudden it started very slowly. And it just went down on its side. It didn't fall. It just was like somebody laid it down. So we went up, something must have happened. Maybe one of the legs on the tripod gave way, and that's actually what happened going down. No, everything was still as it was.
Wow.
But something didn't want us recording. And we ended up actually getting activity in one of the rooms down the hall that it was trying to block.
Yeah. Well, at least they didn't break your camera.
No, that's why I said it was crazy. It literally went, and we all, when you were watching something, we're all going, okay, what just happened? Again,
that's hilarious. Yeah, I can't wait to see which bus you guys throw me under.
Oh, so many to choose from. Which one do we choose?
Well, we've got a couple of potentials coming up. We just have to get them firmed up. So it depends on, we'll just leave it at that.
Depends on when and where.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's shoot for the first 2 weeks of February, shall we?
We could probably figure something out there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. You guys, we have come to the end of our time. And I just want to thank you all, first of all, so much for your hospitality. Susie let us stay in her cabin this weekend, and it was really sweet and very, very nice. And it was nice having her right next door. It was awesome. And we got to visit with Frankie the doggy. And so it was a really fun time at the haunted house. Amy Lynn, good job on making this guy into the best ringmaster ever. And
I try. I didn't get to do makeup the second night because time was running short, but the skull makeup was amazing.
It was okay. That Saturday makeup was amazing. He splattered pictures of that all over Facebook already. So, it's already out there. And like I said, I know we're running over time. Brett, Sarah, Amy Lynn, Susie, and Jen. I don't know where Jen went, but thank you, Jen. I just love you guys so much, and I can't wait to come back.
Oh, absolutely. Like, we can't wait for you to come back.
Absolutely.
We just have way more fun together than should be allowed, I think.
We're excited for next time.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have time to plan.
And Nikki wants to say, Nikki and Robin both say, awesome show. It was so much fun chatting with you guys. Thank you all for being here. And again, next week, I will probably have other paranormal teams that I'm interviewing because I'm going to Paracon. So, I wish I was going, guys. So,
yes, we would be going, but
somebody had to like put her wedding that weekend. So,
really, I know.
Congratulations!
Ruined it for everybody.
Congratulations, Amy Lynn and Roman, on your nuptials. So,
thank you.
Again, thank you all very much. Thank you for being in the audience and the chatting, and thank you, Logan, for that great game idea.
Yes.
I'm not going to play, but I'm going to watch.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be
I'll catch
fun.
the highlights later.
All right. Very, very cool. And I will see all you guys later. And if not before, I'll see you in February.
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. Well, we'll be talking before then for sure.
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
We'll talk to you like tomorrow.
Or tonight.
Cool. Cool. All right. Thanks again, everybody, and have a great week. And you know, if you're going to go paranormal investigating, be careful. Safety first.
Yes.
And bring a
Safety
buddy.
first.
Bring
Always.
a buddy.
Respect and
Use
safety.
Buddy system. Always use it. It is the best
Yep.
thing. We learned as a children, and it still works as an adult.
Yes, it does.
Safety
Yes,
first.
it does. Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.